You? I hope everybody's good. I hope you're having a nice Saturday evening, afternoon, morning, wherever you are. So I came live today. It's not going to be a Lebanese Arabic lesson, but it's going to be like a Q&A session. So I'm going to write here on my screen Q&A. And I will talk about the upcoming courses, talk about the upcoming Lebanese Arabic courses, and talk about every level and what you expect to learn in every level. So if you have any questions, just ask them now. Let me just write Q&A. One moment. Okay, Q. Yeah, okay, keeps jumping to the Arabic. Okay, Q&A, and I'm gonna pin that comment. Okay, so if you come now, you can ask any questions you want about Arabic, the Arabic courses, the Lebanese dialect, whatever you want, just ask. Okay, so to begin with, thank you. To begin with, the courses are starting on April 28th. And they are 3-month courses until July 26th. We meet 1 hour and 15 minutes every Monday and Wednesday and Saturday. So the Monday and Wednesday sessions are usually, of course, mandatory if you're doing the course, and I will be the one running them. Saturday is optional, but of course do it, because why not? You'd get like an extra lesson, So it's a study session. People go ask their questions, and it's going to be with my cousin in Lebanon. So in total, if you're doing the Lebanese Arabic courses, you're getting around 50 hours of teaching, which is an amazing package. Okay, now this is about the general information. The time of the class will be dependent on your level. So this term, the live lessons, I'm opening absolute beginners, general one, and the maintenance course. And for the pre-recorded courses, I have absolute beginners, general 1, general 2, and general 3. So let me start firstly by clarifying what is the difference between the recorded courses and the live courses. Initially, during COVID, I started doing 30-day challenge courses live. We used to study every day. Of course, people didn't have a life except do something from home. So we had more time, and we used to study every single day. And when COVID finished, of course, people don't have time to do the 30-day challenge course every single day live. So I moved that live session into two things. One, the pre-recorded 30-day challenge course, which comes as 1 hour to 1 hour and a half daily lessons. So it's a package of courses you download to your computer. Once again, I'd love to join you in a YouTube short. I speak Syrian Arabic. I just saw your comment. Okay, I'll check your page and I'll see you later. So I was saying, okay, wait, my ideas got confused a bit. So I was saying, if you do the pre-recorded version, you get 1 hour to 1 hour and a half daily lessons. You download the actual course to your computer, which means, of course, you don't have to do 1 hour to 1 hour and a half daily lessons. That would be way too much. Usually, I recommend my students to do 2 lessons a week. Ideally, 3 lessons if you have time. But if you don't have time, 2 active lessons a week is way more than enough. Like that, you can finish every course, which is every 30-day challenge course, within 3 to 4 months. Now, when I say active lessons, what does it mean? So when you download the actual course, it's extremely intensive. You have no clue how much content there is. Like, it's insane. It's not like, yes, a course, sometimes like 15-minute lessons, sometimes no, proper intensive course. Okay, so you do, let's say, 2 lessons a week, 1 hour to 1 hour and a half. I think sometimes you will need more than 1 hour and a half for each lesson, because if it's an active lesson, you have to pause, repeat with me, write down your notes, create your dictionary, so you can easily put 2 to 3 hours sometimes, okay, for each lesson. So sometimes maybe you want to divide one lesson into 2 lessons. It really depends on how much time you have. So you have all the flexibility, and you choose how you divide your lessons, okay? So Active lessons means repeating after me like a parrot, non-stop, non-stop, non-stop. Some people say to me, okay, I don't have someone to practice with. Is the pre-recorded course good to practice? If you don't have someone to practice with, which is not ideal, you can practice with yourself. You can have a conversation with yourself. Repeat every single sentence after me. Even with my live students, when they are on mute, I'm always saying that you have 1 hour and 15 minutes. Take that time to have a conversation with yourself, you know. Thank you to you, Amir. Okay, so that's when it comes to active lessons. You're doing the video lesson, okay? Now, in the other folder, so every day has 3 folders when you get the course, okay? Day 1 will have the actual video folder, the actual video lesson. Folder 2 will have the material, يعني everything I used in that video. The PDF files, the MP3 audio files, which means you can use these to review on other days. Passive learning. So I recommend you do passive learning maybe every day and active lessons twice a week. Passive learning means you're reviewing the vocabulary that we did on that day. You put it in your ear when you're driving. You put it in your ear when you're at the gym. Maybe you're cooking, you're playing it in the background. So passive learning is very, very important to keep things continuing to learn from one lesson to another. Okay? And the third folder you get when you're doing the pre-recorded course, so folder 1 is the video, folder 2 is the material, folder 3, whatever notes that were spontaneously something we spoke about in that class, in that video, I write them down, of course, and I record them slowly with my voice, and it's like new vocabulary. That's also extra things you can use on your passive learning day. So this is what you get from the pre-recorded course. Now, going back to explain, if you have any questions, write them here, okay? So going back to explain, what's the difference between the pre-recorded and the live courses? In terms of content, they are exactly the same. So remember when I told you we used to do 1 lesson every day during COVID, and that was not possible anymore. So that same course, I changed it into the pre-recorded version for you to do on your own, or the live version, but instead of doing every day, I extended it to 3 months, and now we do Monday, Wednesday, and Saturdays. Okay? And as I said, Saturday is optional, it's bonus, but it's an amazing thing. So why lose it if it's there? Okay? So, the content is exactly the same, but I will be very, very honest with you. If you're someone who's disciplined, and if you're someone who needs flexibility, you're good at learning on your own. But when I say on your own, by the way, it's always with my support. Yeah, and I can't tell you how many messages I receive every day with my students asking a question, leaving a voice message, etc. So I'm always there to answer any questions you have on WhatsApp. If you leave a message, I see it, let's say, even if we have different times, you know, if you're in America, I will see it maybe in a few hours, but I will always answer you, okay? And I also always follow up with my students who are doing the pre-recorded course. I send reminders. There is like a checklist of dates we create together, and you tick every day, and you send me a snapshot every time you finish a lesson. So I say to my students, okay, you finished day 1, you have questions? Good, text me. You don't have questions? Also text me. So I know where you are. So we're always in touch. So that this would be like a course that you do. I don't like it to be like, yeah, I bought a course and maybe one day I will do it. Okay? So, but I want to be honest with you. Is there a difference in the content? 100% the same. But the pre-recorded course, although people prefer always the live lessons, but the pre-recorded course will always have much more material than the live course. Although it's the same program, but so why will there be a difference? Obviously, because the pre-recorded course, I chose people that I knew, okay? And they were there. We were pretending it's a class. It wasn't a real class because I wanted to create like a classroom environment to record the lessons. So there's no interruptions, okay? So it's a pre-recorded course with no interruptions and people who are there pretending they don't know Arabic and they are learning, okay? You know what I mean? So, of course, they were still learning, but they knew the course. That's what I mean. So there's no interruptions. It's just me and them trying to create the course for you. Whereas when I'm live in class, there is more interruptions, people ask questions, I have to stop. Sometimes we are off topic, we go somewhere else and we come back. So that's why, although the content initially is the same, the pre-recorded will have much more covered than the live lessons, okay? But it still depends. Some people prefer live because they feel more accountable, they feel they can be more disciplined when they are in class, and other people need flexibility. So it really depends on your learning style, okay? So far, I'm speaking fast, yes? Okay, let me catch a breath. Okay, now I covered everything about the courses, the differences, the times, blah, blah, blah. Now let's talk about each level and what to expect from each level. First of all, if you really want to know what each level has, just email me. I can send you exactly the course plan. Day 1, we will learn this. Day 2, this. Day 3, this. Day 4, this. Exactly where you're going. So you know where you're going before you start your course. Okay? So, by the way, Lebanese Arabic Courses, yes? So, it's good to know your milestones. It's good to know where you're heading. Not you're like doing a course randomly without knowing where you're going. So structure is the most important thing. So you can send me your course plans. I will explain to you what each level has more or less, but also if you're still not sure, we can always have a quick phone call. If you're not sure about your level, I can ask you a few questions. Hi, Maudie. I can ask you a few questions, and based on that, I can recommend the right course level for you. Okay? But let's begin. Yeah, absolute beginners is for people who don't know any Arabic. Sometimes actually it could be for people who know some Arabic because they have like parents, etc. They heard the language but never spoke it. And also especially if you don't know how to read and write, definitely absolute beginners is the place to start. So what we do in the absolute beginners, we're learning to read and write while we speak. Let me take a sip of water. Okay, so basically you learn to read, write, speak, basic conversations, etc. The basic things would be like introducing yourself, asking basic questions, talking about your family, talking about jobs, describing your environment, a few songs like that are nice about the 4 seasons, etc. What else? So it would be basic things you can talk about, okay? While you are learning to read and write. And how do we actually learn to read and write? It's not just, okay, we're learning to read and write in a rigid way and then suddenly we start doing something else. No. In every lesson I introduce 3 letters here, 4 letters there, you know, and without knowing it, before the course ends, towards like I would say 70% of the course, you already know all your letters, and then we continue practicing them. Now, we also do like lots of phrases. Sometimes we watch conversations that I have as lessons, you know. So sometimes people tell me, okay, but I just want to speak, I don't want to read and write. Okay, so I don't like that, okay? And I don't do that in my courses because I am a very strong believer in reading and writing at the same time, unless you really are not interested in speaking the language in a proper way, in a professional and serious way. If you just want to learn a few sentences here and there, fine, that works, you don't need to read and write. But if you really want to speak properly, I really recommend you read and write from the beginning. Firstly, because reading and writing will make you analyze more your writing. It will help you with your fluency. It becomes part of your physiology, your writing, so you memorize things faster. Second, because if you become a little more advanced, upper beginner, intermediate, advanced, you will need courses, you will need books, you will need resources, all of which will be written with the Arabic script. So if you don't know how to read and write, how will you understand them? You will not understand them. Like for example, in my level 2 course, which is the beginner's course, everything on my screen is now written in Arabic. And when I say Arabic, it doesn't mean written in Fusha. No, the Arabic letters, but in Lebanese Arabic. So it will be impossible for you to follow a course if you don't know how to read and write. And take it as a bonus, like why not? You're learning something extra. So definitely reading and writing in level 1. So the way it starts is, I start by using the Roman alphabet, the way we text on WhatsApp, or I'm speaking informally with my family. So we do that. We also learn that because it's also important to know that if you're speaking with a Lebanese person. So we start like that. And then I'm introducing the letters slowly. We're still continuing to learn with that. When I finish the letters, that's it. X, no more Roman alphabet, just the Arabic script. At the end of absolute beginners and from beginners level onwards, no more Roman alphabet. Okay? So that's about the absolute beginners course. Now about the beginners course. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comment box and I will answer you, okay? Now the beginners course is great for you, again, if you have some background, maybe you learned Fusha before, maybe you have parents who spoke Arabic, but you want to start with a nice foundation and you already know how to read and write. Beginners is the right place. It's one of my favorite courses because we do lots of dialogues in the beginners course. Things that you need in real life. You're ordering cafe in a restaurant. You're talking about your preferred food. I'm trying to remember the topics now. Maybe you're having breakfast with your family and you're talking about it. Maybe you want to order food in a restaurant. Maybe about clothes, you're buying clothes. So things that you really need in real life. So beginners level, beginners Lebanese Arabic level, has lots of vocabulary, lots of conversations. And in every course, by the way, there is an equal amount of everything. Listening, vocabulary, grammar, speaking, conversations, and you get to practice on Saturdays with everybody else and ask your questions. So there is a lot of listening exercises as well, which is very important to speak the language. Okay, so that's in the beginners course. Now we jump to General 1. General 1 is also one of my favorite courses because it's like, why do I like to call it also a general course? Because people in this course usually come from very different backgrounds. That's why it's a general level. It's not like higher, lower or something. It's a level where everyone can benefit something from, okay? And it's great if you learned Fusha before. It's great if you have some background learning Arabic with your parents or something, formally or informally. It's great if you formally studied Fusha for a long time, so you have a strong foundation of Arabic, but never studied Lebanese, for example. Although in that case, even I recommend you do the beginners course. Lebanese, not absolute beginners, okay? So what do we cover mostly in General 1? Apart from the topics and speaking, etc., there is a very strong focus on conjugating verbs. Of course, always in context, never just yes, the tables, always within context. So we cover everything. So if you have a weakness in fluency because you're using the verbs incorrectly, General 1 is the perfect place to be. We cover literally everything. Past, present, future, past perfect, past continuous, past habits, unattained future, conditionals. What else? Like everything related to verbs. We cover big numbers. We cover what else? I'm trying to remember. So when we are learning these conjugations, we are always learning them in context. There would be maybe a passage, for example, of, let's say if we're learning the past tense, the passage would have verbs in the past tense all the time, and then we do the conjugations, etc. Okay, so that's General 1. Now, General 2, in my opinion, is my hardest course, and it's a really, really hard course, okay? So loaded with information, it's like insane. And there are times I had to divide General 2 into 2 live courses. That's how loaded it is. And I have students who are doing General 2, it takes them double the time sometimes. Instead of 3 months, 6 months, because they sometimes watch it 2 times. I had a student who did it 3 times. She's rewatching, of course, because it's pre-recorded. You can watch it 1 million times. But when it's also live, it's like I divided it into 2, because it's really never enough because it has so much it's very, very technical. Okay, so it's like you want to understand all the details of the language, not only as an advanced, like it's a very professional way of understanding things. Okay, so we're not only reviewing the conjugations and the verbs, we are also going into the details of the verb forms, how to create the verb if you know the noun, how to create the noun if you know the verb, the participles. We practice the participles a lot as well because we use them a lot in Lebanese Arabic. So the imperative verbs, the passive form, really tough stuff, okay? So, but it will give you like a very, very strong background. If anyone did General 2 here, write it in the comment box. Now, going to General 3 and General 4, I'm not opening General 4 this month, but let me talk about it because it's the same. General 3 and General 4 are the same level. General 4 is not more advanced than General 3, okay? It's the same level. We do lots of conversations, back to dialogues, okay? If you're signing up at the gym, if you don't have internet connection, if you want to complain about something, I don't know, you stayed in a hotel and you want to complain about it. So topics and vocabulary. And in my opinion, General 2 is even harder than General 3 and General 4. Thank you, Ahmed. Okay, so perfect for going back to the conversations, etc. And every now and then in General 3 and General 4, I throw in something from social media, maybe a talk show, maybe a scene from a movie, maybe, so it's like integrated as well, very integrated in the culture. All the lessons, all the levels are integrated in the culture. Even if you're an absolute beginners, I will show you some songs from, Lebanese childhood, okay? So that's even part of the culture. Every level will have Lebanese culture integrated in it. But of course, when you become more advanced, we have the opportunity to explore more with freedom. And finally, I have a course that is just live, never pre-recorded, and it's called the maintenance course. And this maintenance course is usually for the people who completed all the courses and they are quite advanced. And we are just and you don't have to have completed all my courses. Maybe you're already advanced and you can come to the maintenance course. It's a course where we explore a lot more, similar to the level of General 2 and above, okay, but with much more exploration ground, okay? It's not like, it doesn't have a fixed course plan, we want to finish this or that. No, it's like sometimes students, they suggest, okay, you know what, I watched this talk show, can we do it? Maybe a scene from a movie, maybe a song, a lot of social media content, a lot of conversations as well. Sometimes we go back to some dialogues that could be a little more basic, okay? Depending on the needs of people. So it's basically, we maintain what we learn and people keep doing as much as they want. You know what? It's a little hard to keep talking to yourself on your own when it's not a conversation. But there you go. I spoke everything. I don't know if there's anything else I want to cover. If I forgot anything, ask me in the comment box. I also want to let you know, apart from the courses, I also have the book that is, actually it's here, let me show you. 30 Authentic Lebanese Dialogues and Conjugation Essentials from Lebanon with Love. This is a book that is, even when I talk about it, I just feel so like, I don't know, I just love it from all my heart. Apart from the fact that it took me 4 years and a half to write this book, I think this is not just a book, it really is a course, except that you don't see my face explaining it as a video, you hear my voice, but the way it's recorded, first of all, it comes with more than 30 hours. Can you imagine? Just a book that has more than 30 hours of content where I record things slowly with every single syllable, every single vowel is pronounced in this book. Slowly, but then also faster, because we don't want to stay slow, because in real life we don't talk always like You have to hear things in real life. So I record them faster with my voice, and then I asked other people to record their voices, and I added them to the folders. So really an amazing resource if you want to learn proper speaking, if you're traveling to Lebanon, if you're traveling to any other Arabic country. And it is written both in the Roman alphabet and the Arabic script, like you see here, in case you don't know how to read and write. And it has 30 lessons, 30 dialogues, lots of QR codes as well that will take you to particular lessons that are on YouTube that are related to that actual lesson. Look, every lesson would have long vocabulary lists, of course, all recorded with my voice. Then, for example, you will have lots of verbs conjugated. The conjugation in this book is just insane, honestly. I keep saying this is the best Arabic book in the world because it is. Like, just so perfect, okay? You will be shocked at how amazing the content is. And then you will have, for example, the conversation. Again, like, okay, so basically it starts vocabulary, conversation, conjugation. Vocabulary, conversation, conjugation. So, yes, so this is a great option if, for example, you don't have time for a course this term. You can start with a book, and you can, like, and it's also a book that is good for literally all levels. If you're an absolute beginners, if you're advanced, in the end, towards the end, look, we're not only conjugating verbs, we're conjugating verbs in sentences, in context. So, yeah, it's just amazing. That's it for today. Anyone has a question before I go? If not, I'm gonna go. Okay, guys. Yalla, bye. I hope to see you soon in class. Bye bye.